Hey guys, Bar Down Hockey here. We got a nice video for you guys today. It is the NHL Stanley Cup Contenders for 2017-18 season. It's very hard to predict because the season hasn't started yet, but there's a select few teams that always should be locked in as contenders, and I'm going to list them. I got this from Yahoo Sports. I agree with it. I was actually coming up with my own, and I wanted to see who had the closest to me, so I'm going to back this up with Yahoo, and then I'll also list a couple more teams that probably have a chance too. So let's start off with my top 6, I guess, and then I'll list some other teams. This is in no particular order. I'm just going to be listing them. I'm just going to start it off with Tampa Bay as the least, but there's no particular order. I'm just listing teams. But to me, Tampa has the least chance because they did not even make the playoffs last year. Yeah, they got Chris Kunitz, but yeah, he's getting up there. But I think Stamkos, Kucherov, Hedman are going to be in their prime pretty much. So if they're going to win, they have some time, but then again, you got to start working before they get up there. Speaking of aging players, Stamkos and them aren't really aging. They're kind of in their prime, but speaking of not letting time slip away, we got the Anaheim Ducks, which I'm wearing their jersey today. The Anaheim Ducks core is aging. Ryan Kesler, Ryan Getzlaf, and Corey Perry. All of them are going into their mid-30s. I think Kessler is turning either 33 or 44. Getzlaf's 32 or 33, I think. Perry is too. So yeah, they have an aging core, but their blue line is looking great. We have Vatanen, Fowler, Manson, and it's just looking very good for them. So they have a lot of good defensemen. They also added Francois Beauchemin during the offseason, and he is also an aging defenseman, but he will provide insurance for the injured Lindholm or Vatanen. So, yes. Next we have first two. Tampa's likeliness is probably the least. The Ducks have a great chance. Do they go to the conference finals again? I'm not sure. I think that they will. Will they be first in the conference? I'm not sure. That's why we're going to go on to the Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers, probably, I'm thinking it's going to be a race between the Oilers and the Ducks to finish first in the division and maybe even the conference. So basically, the Oilers have their core very young. Connor McDavid, 20. Leon Draisaitl, 20. That's perfect right there. Those two great centermen. They traded Jordan Eberle for Ryan Strome, I believe, from the New York Islanders. That's going to be an interesting addition. Obviously, Eberle was providing good play, but I think that they're kind of moving on from their rebuild core. Like I said, they've traded everyone from that Oilers team that wasn't doing very well. Yakupov, gone. I guess Eberle now is gone. They're trading everybody and just keeping this new group of young players. Next person to go, probably Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I don't see him staying in the long run. He's a good centerman, so they'll get something good for him, hopefully. But I don't think he's staying for the whole season. He'd probably get traded at the trade deadline. So that is the Oilers. They also have some great players there. So I'm going to talk about Pat Maroon, former Anaheim Duck. Fighting to stay on the top line as well with McDavid. That's the Oilers. If they can get past the Ducks, the Sharks, and the Flames in the standings, I lock them in for finals appearance. But because they really almost got the Ducks, and the Ducks are one of the best teams in the league. And if they can beat them just with McDavid and Draisaitl in that season, the Oilers are not finished. They're gonna fight for it. I'm excited to see it. So that is the Oilers. And another thing, top of the Western Conference. Everybody says Nashville is gonna finish top of the conference. I don't believe it. I don't think that's going to happen. That moves us on to the Nashville Predators. The Nashville Predators went to the Stanley Cup Final and fell in Game 6 to the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are also on this list, and I'll talk about them as well. But the Preds, they're still contenders. If you have been in the playoffs that many times in a row, you are a contender. Same thing with the Ducks. They've been in the playoffs 5 times, won the division 5 times. I think they might be the most dangerous team out of all of these, the Ducks. Or the Penguins. Penguins, too, are very dangerous, but we'll talk about them, too. The Predators, everybody says, oh, they're going to finish first in the conference. They might get first in the division. I don't see them finishing first in the conference. But it's more likely than it was last season. I feel like the Blackhawks will not be as good. The Blackhawks lost a lot. They are not a contender right now. They are not a contender. But I mean, they're probably still a playoff team. It's just, I don't see them as a contender. Neither are the Kings. Kings, it's a 50-50 shot if it's they're a playoff team or not. But yeah, the Preds, they lost James Neal to the expansion draft. They are pretty much keeping most of their core intact except for James Neal and losing Mike Fisher to retirement. Obviously, he was either going to go as a free agent or, they didn't sign him. Mike Fisher went to the finals 2 times, lost to the Ducks in 2007, and lost to the Penguins in 2017. So that's unfortunate for him. But yes, he did retire. We still have their main defense intact, PK Subban, Ryan Ellis. They also have Jan Krog, and why am I blanking out on the other players? But yeah, we all know who went to the finals. It was the Predators. But the main fall is going to be losing James Neal. They also gained Nick Bonino. Forgot to mention that. Nick Bonino comes from the Penguins, and he signs as a free agent. Obviously, that might help them out with their loss of Mike Fisher. They're still going to have Ryan Johansson, and that should make them definitely a good threat. But are they top of the conference team? Who knows? And that leads me to the Minnesota Wild. The Minnesota Wild were so close, yet so far from the Cup. They were coached by former Ducks coach Bruce Boudreau, led them to the top of the conference, it felt like, just to finish just before the Blackhawks. But it all comes down. Bruce Boudreau is not a playoff coach. Every time he coached the Ducks, there's something about him in the Game 7s. And I've seen this. And even though the Wild didn't fall in the Game 7, they flopped. They were a good team, just in the regular season. I don't know why this is actually one of the ones that I don't think will win either. The Wild, remember, this is Yahoo, but I slightly agree with their thinking here. I mean, the Wild were a great team in the regular season. They also probably thought the Blackhawks were going to win last season. We'll see how that went, swept. That's even worse than what happened to the Wild. So you never know. They kept most of their core intact. They even had Matt Cullen, who is an aging veteran who came from Pittsburgh. So yeah, Wild, coached by Bruce Boudreau. I don't think they're going to win the Cup. Are they contenders? Maybe. I guess they're contenders. That moves us on to the 2-time in 2 years Stanley Cup champions, the Pittsburgh Penguins. These guys, I don't know. I don't think they're going to three-peat, to be honest. They're going to fall to somebody, some rising force in the East. There's really no good rising forces in the East right now. But yeah, Pittsburgh, I don't see them three-peating. I think even if they go to the Stanley Cup final, they're going to I don't think they can do it again. I just think it's a long shot, especially losing Nick Bonino, and who else did they lose? But I don't see it happening. Are they contenders? They are probably one of the more dangerous contenders as I'm listing. The Penguins, Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin. Another thing that I've noticed, people say that there's no real chemistry between Phil Kessel And if Evgeny Malkin or Sidney Crosby, I don't see that either. But yeah, they just keep their core intact what they had, then they should do fine. Keep Hornquist, good defenseman. They also have, what's his name? Chris Letang. That is it, Chris Letang. Keep him. He's a good defenseman as well. They got a pretty good shot locked up. So that's my 6 that I got, that I kind of agreed with Yahoo Sports. Yeah, Tampa Bay, maybe. Remember, they went to the finals in 2015 and fell to the Blackhawks. That was a good series, I remember. And so if they get in the playoffs, they're dangerous. But first they have to get in the playoffs. And then, so yeah, I'm also going to list a couple more teams that I think have a shot at winning the Cup. No one listed the Predators as a contender last season. I'm telling you, what a prediction. So I'm going to be listing a couple more teams that I think could do it, but maybe not. Number 1, the St. Louis Blues. We've seen Vladimir Tarasenko. He's a very good player. I got to make this quick, obviously, because I don't want to be talking about these teams that might not be contenders but still have a good shot. So St. Louis Blues, Vladimir Tarasenko, Jake Allen. They have some great players on that team. Now, they just have to get past the Preds and all their powerful forces in the West. The Ducks, Wild, get to the final. Somehow have to have other teams eliminate them. Remember, you got to go through 3 rounds of playoffs to get to the final. So there's still a lot to be done for them. I'm also going to listen to the San Jose Sharks just for the fun of it. The Sharks, as demonstrated, I've been saying this, the Sharks went to the Stanley Cup Finals last year in 2016 and fell to the Pittsburgh Penguins. The next season, everybody said, oh, the Sharks are going to be good again. They were looking pretty good, and then they fell in the first round to the Oilers. I think that same thing might happen to the Preds, okay? So yeah, San Jose Sharks, good team. Another team that I'm going to say will do better this season, maybe not even a playoff team, but the Carolina Hurricanes are working towards something good. They are adding some good key players. Are they contenders? No, I'm just listing them as a possible playoff team. They could be better, but I'm not sure. I'm just listing teams off the top of my head now. So, next team that could be a playoff team in the West this season, the Calgary Flames. Not a great playoff team. They got swept by the Ducks in the first round this year, but they have so many good players coming in. They have Mike Smith, good goaltender, coming in. Finally has a chance to play for a good team. Sorry, Arizona. You guys, you blew it. I'm sorry, but you're not going to the playoffs, by the way. But Mike Smith, much better. He's actually going to be playing for a good team now. So, yeah, Mike Smith going to Calgary. They're also going to be better. I think that Gaudreau, Monahan will be better. They always have their captain, defenseman Mark Giordano, who, I don't like because I'm a Ducks fan, and he injured Cam Fowler in the first round, or before the first round. I was actually there at that game when Mark Giordano did that, and I just remember the fights after that happened were insane. I was at that game. That was crazy. So anyway, let's move on. I'm trying to find another team that I can think of that is good. I'm just looking at Canadian teams, and I'm like, nope, not Vancouver. But I am going to mention the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs have an incredible young core. Again, they also did add the veteran Patrick Marleau. Will he do much? He's going to provide good leadership, but I don't see him making too much of an impact, but maybe. But the main conversations between Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, and that young core. I think that's what... Oh, yeah, well, Nylander, too. You can talk about him. I feel like they're not going to be a Stanley Cup contender, but they can go far. I feel like they're better than the second round, especially with Matthews going to get much better next season, I think, hopefully. And then with Marleau, too, adding him is going to be good. Let's see. Yeah, I did finish my list. I'm just trying to think of some other teams that I think could. Ottawa Senators, another team I have to mention. this is probably going to be the last team I'm going to be mentioning before I conclude this video. Actually, I do have one more after this. But yeah, the Ottawa Senators went to the conference final last year. They have, I guess when you think of the Senators, what do you think of? Erik Karlsson, obviously. You're going to be thinking of Erik Karlsson. Erik Karlsson, a great defenseman. But then I've actually been fascinated with the Senators just because of one player that I've been watching over the years. Bobby Ryan. Does anybody remember Bobby Ryan in Anaheim? He was amazing. Bobby Ryan was the next big thing in Anaheim. We did get Silverberg for him, and then we got Nick Ritchie through the draft, but I don't know. Bobby Ryan was, if he would have stayed in Anaheim, would he have been better than he is in Ottawa right now? I think probably. Because lately he has put nowhere near the numbers that he put up in Anaheim in Ottawa. I would have loved to see him stay in Anaheim. I think that would have been, we would have won the cup, I feel like, again. If Bobby Ryan got in his prime with this team, having him on this Duck team, I feel like we could have won the cup. He was a great forward. He's not putting up great numbers in Ottawa right now. He was starting to in the playoffs. He was playing like Bobby Ryan should. But obviously another team to look out for will be the Senators. Everybody was talking about Craig Anderson too, great goaltender. But the final team, a team that flopped last season, would be the Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars. Some people are listing them as contenders this season. I don't know if I'd call them contenders, but very, very possible to be contenders by the end of the season. These are the Dallas Stars, Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, and then they've been adding Ben Bishop, the good goaltender. They finally have their goaltending situation figured out. Keeping Lettinen too. They also added somebody from the Montreal Canadiens. Who was it? Oh, they brought their old coach back, and then now they got, who's that guy from? I'm forgetting his name, but it's like Radulov or something. I'm sorry. I don't watch the Canadians a lot, but I know they got some defensemen from the Canadians. That'll bring in a lot. I think that team is ready to compete again. Hopefully they come off better. I think Taylor Seguin's going back to the center position. Looking forward to that. But my final team, best team in the league, will be the Vegas Golden Knights. Just kidding. I'm sorry. But yeah, Vegas is not a contender. I wish them the best. I'd also like to congratulate them on finishing the expansion draft. The Vegas Golden Knights will be the worst team in the league, and the Avalanche will finally be the 30th team in the league and not the last team in the league, because we have the monstrosity of Vegas Golden Knights. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the list. Special thank you to Yahoo Sports. Well, I will say backed up this list that I came up with. I looked up with them. They were the closest agreement to my selections that I just said. Obviously, my top 6 contenders, I will list them once again, being Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh Penguins, the Edmonton Oilers, the Anaheim Ducks, Nashville Predators, and the Minnesota Wild. And I will add the Dallas Stars, I guess. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like this video, make sure to subscribe to Bar Down Hockey and subscribe to our vlog and other stuff that's not hockey news talk and hockey action, hockey bros universe. Thank you guys so much for watching.